Well, it's time to go behind the slide with the National Reining Horse Association. The NRHA has been and continues to be busy, and we've got a chance to visit with the man who just had a great trip to the National Reining Breeders' Classic Open, which took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Cole Price joins us, a really good horse trainer out of Pilot Point, Texas. And you took 4 horses to this show in Tulsa, April 15th through the 26th, and you ended up winning or placing on all 4 of them.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting trip. The first horse I took was just in the novice horse division. He showed Monday. I was a 220.5 on him. We won that. I think we won 13 or 14,000. You know, it was just a one go. It was just a horse that's not quite seasoned, so it's a horse that I'm bringing along. So I didn't want to put, 2 runs on him. A horse I think will be real strong at the end of the year, especially for next year. So I was able to save him. And then I actually tied to win. They'll go around on Golden Coins and Picture Perfect, and my other horse, Scotty Doesn't Know, was the last horse I showed, and he was a 221.5. So super proud of how we did and super prepared.
You won the Classic Finals Level 4 Championship. What does Level 4 mean for those of us who don't ride reining horses?
Level 4 is the highest division of the Open.
Got it. Got it. This is Golden Coins. This is a 227.5. That's a great score. This looks like so much fun.
That horse is a blast to ride. Actually, all 4 of the horses I took are, I'm lucky to have one of them, let alone to have 4 of them. But this run here felt so easy. He was so locked in. He's one of those horses that you can run fast, but you don't feel like you're going fast. You feel in control every moment. You actually see there, I had time to adjust my hat, and if you notice after that lead change, that horse licked his lips. You don't see a lot of horses do that in the middle of runs, but it was just, he was so hooked up, and I actually felt like maybe I left a couple little points out there, but he was honest and he showed so good. It was a lot of fun.
How old is this horse? What's his showing experience?
He's a 5-year-old. It's the horse that I got qualified on last year. He qualified me to show at the Run for the Million this year. We've had him since he was 3. Always been a super special horse. Had a little bobbles here or there, and I feel like this year is his time to shine.
There you see the top 5, Cole Price and Golden Coins, Jason Van Landingham, and plus me, I'm Shiny, Casey Deary in the number 3 spot with Customize My Dream, and then Mirko Medilli and Mark My Word, and Cole Price again with Picture Perfect in the number 5 spot. You and your Picture Perfect horse and your Golden Coins horse actually tied to win the preliminary round that got you into this championship round.
Yeah,
right?
that's correct. We were 224. Both of them were super solid in the go-rounds. I didn't feel like I had to really challenge them. They were super hooked up. They were fun. I mean, we were ready to go, and they showed exactly how I wanted them to. And, that's a good feeling when you tie on 2 horses going into the finals.
Yeah. Okay, here's Steve's dumb question of the interview.
No dumb questions.
When you're training these horses, when you're teaching them the ways of reining in particular, what's the toughest thing to teach them to do? Or does it just depend on the horse?
Every horse is different. So, like, Picture Perfect is a very simple-minded horse. Maybe he's the type of horse you got to say, hey, come on, give me a little bit more, like in the turnarounds. Super fun to circle, always been fun. There's not a speed you can't run him at stop, and that's always been natural. Golden Coins is a very intense horse. It took a little bit more time to get a confidence, but I think it's just, you got to figure each horse out. Every horse is different, just like every person's going to learn a lot different, and then once you figure out how they learn, sky's the limit to these great horses.
You were quoted after the show, when you start off a show like this so well, you just want to keep it up. Everybody else says don't change anything, but they're all going to bring it at the finals. And you told me before we started this, you won almost $200,000 between those 4 horses. Expand on that a little bit, because it sounds to me like, as if there's such a thing as a perfect show for a trainer, you got darn close to it.
Well, I think, and I believe this in any sports, but sports are so much about momentum. And when you have that momentum going, man, you better keep that momentum rolling, because, like I said, you don't want to be a letdown. You don't want to start off as good and then go, oh, man, we lost it in the finals, or, get a little lazy in the middle of nights preparing. So to me, it was more or less just keep my momentum, keep doing what I was doing, try not to change too much of what I was doing, but you also got to remember there's a couple people that were in the top 5. They're assassins. They're coming after you, so you got to be ready to go out and mark your run.
The other quote that I saw that I thought was interesting, you say, I want to thank Coin Toss Partners and the Roberts family. I assume they're the owners of the horse.
Yes, so we are partners with the Roberts family. They own Capital Quarter Horses. They actually Well, we bought them together about a year ago. You know, that horse has had some bobbles here or there, and then they've been great owners. They just say, keep going, keep going, keep going. And, you know, we feel so fortunate to be a part of that horse.
The thing that people may or may not understand, and we've tried to highlight this a lot when we've had a chance to talk to folks like you, is you said, I want to thank my wife. She's been out there every night making sure everything is crisp and not letting any stone go unturned, even getting up at 4 a.m. at home, just watching me ride as an extra set of eyes. It really does take a village, especially at these shows with all these horses, doesn't it?
For sure. I think actually at that horse show, I think we had like 27 horses, 26 horses. So, you know, to have everybody from the stall cleaners to the grooms to the assistants, you know, everybody's got their own part. But like for me, Kelsey's a big set of eyes to me. You know, I know that she's going to tell me the truth. I know she's not going to, you know, butter anything too soft. So like, you know, if she says it's a +1/2, it's probably a +1.
Got it.
She's not going to sugarcoat it. But everybody needs a good set of eyes. Somebody that's going to tell you the truth. And, you know, you don't want to start second guessing yourself. When you're in the middle of the night, it's easy to watch everybody else and then go, man, maybe I should do this. But, you know, you need that set of eyes to say, hey, you're right on track. You're right where you need to be. Or, hey, you need to pay attention to those little things. And, you know, that started about a month before we even went to that horse show. She'd get up I like to get to the arena a little after 4. I like to have that time where it's just me and my horse. And she'd get up and watch me say, you know, you're on the right track. Keep doing what you're doing, you know. So a lot of my confidence came from her helping me get prepared.
The next show that you're probably going to go to, you have a chance to make a little bit of history, you and the National Reining Horse Association, because they're about to open up a brand new building in Oklahoma City in June,
Yes.
and that'll be your next show?
Yep, we'll show at the NRHA Derby, and I believe we're the first major event to get to show in that Coliseum. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it really is. You know, I mean, you get a chance to make some history.
Yeah. Yep. Actually, last time I was in here, you guys were, you know, twisting my leg because a girl beat me, and I almost made history being the last winner in the old one. So I'm hoping that I get a little redemption on you guys, and I'll be the first one to win in this new facility.
I hope it works out, Cole.
Yes.
I really do. Congratulations. 227.5. Again, for those of us that don't ride reining horses for a living, that's a heck of a run.
That's a big score. That's like an NBA team scoring 120 points.
Yeah, there you go. Good analogy. The champion of the 2025 National Reining Breeders' Classic Open Classic Finals. Forgive me for reading that, but there's a lot of words in there. Cole Price riding a horse called Golden Coins, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully we'll have you back in June after you've made a little bit more history.
Yep. Hope I get some redemption on you guys.